Hey everybody, it's Ann Kaplan from Mom Me and Ann Kaplan Childbirth Services doing another broadcast helping build strong, confident, happy mamas from every step of the way from conception to college. And today what we're talking about, this whole week, we're talking about picky eaters. And I'm really pumped for tomorrow's broadcast because we're going to talk about what to do with your kids when they're picky eaters. But today we're talking about, which I'm also excited about, is what to do when you're the picky eater, which happens all the time. When we're pregnant, we get super picky. I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, it's like the second that I've passed that 4 or 5 week mark, instantly I just feel nauseous and super queasy all the time until about 13 weeks. It happens every time. It's like I didn't even use a pregnancy test for my 4th kid. I was just like, well, I'll find out in a couple weeks if I'm pregnant because I will know how I feel in my stomach. And that's exactly what happened. I was like, I can pinpoint the exact moment when I was like, oh, yep. I was in Target. We were getting ready to do a road trip across Michigan. And halfway through the store, I was getting stuff for the road trip. And I just all of a sudden was just like, I feel terrible. And the worst thing about that craving or that queasy craving feeling is it's like you simultaneously feel hungry and nauseous at the same time. It's awful. And if you don't eat, it gets so much worse. And you become super picky. You know you have to eat. You get close to some food that you think you normally like. And all of a sudden you're like, no way, I can't eat this. So let's talk about that. And I can tell you guys firsthand, I know exactly how it feels, what you're going through. And I can also tell you that not to fret too much about the food that you're eating when you're pregnant, because kids are made out of French fries sometimes, and I can guarantee to you, my first kid was made out of Snickers Poppables and maple syrup because that's all I ate while I was pregnant with him. I also gained about 80 pounds, so that probably wasn't the best choice for me, not just because of my weight gain, but because obviously it's not good to eat so much sugar and stuff like that. But the second time that I got pregnant, somebody, I can't even remember, but somebody told me, you really should try when you're craving something sweet to try protein instead, because your body really needs protein. And when your body's craving sweets, it's actually because you need protein. So I thought, all right, fine, I'll give it a try. So with River, I decided that I was gonna, every time that I was craving something sweet, I would eat something with protein first just to see. And I made River entirely out of turkey sandwiches. And it turned out way better. I gained way less weight. I had so much more energy with him than I did with Elijah. The birth was so much better. I was able to get back in shape better and all that stuff just because I had a healthier pregnancy. So every kid is different, every pregnancy is different, but in general, it's so common to feel super queasy. It's so common to feel like you're really averse to certain foods, even foods that you know that you want to eat and you know that they're healthy for you. Like with my last pregnancy with Sky, I could not make myself eat a vegetable for anything. I just couldn't do it. It was awful. And I was a doula by then. I was a birth worker, totally trained, and I still couldn't make myself eat those veggies. It gave me so much sympathy for my clients, which I watched all the time as a doula, struggling with these queasy feelings of super nausea and food aversions. And then what happens? They choose terrible foods because it's all they can stomach, and they know it's terrible, and they beat themselves up for it. And I was doing the same thing with Sky. And then I started using Isagenix for myself, and after a while, when I saw what an amazing difference it made in my life to have all that amazing nutrition, I started introducing it into my practice when I had clients who were so queasy, couldn't keep anything down. We needed to get protein in them, and it really transformed my clients, it transformed me, and it transformed my practice, because now instead of just watching and having sympathy for my clients, actually it's something I could do about it. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is what is going on for you. Why are you feeling queasy and nauseous when you're pregnant, and what can you do about it? So the reasons why we feel nauseous when we're pregnant are twofold. One, the hormones of pregnancy make you nauseous, especially progesterone. You have really high levels of progesterone in your body when you're pregnant, and they make you nauseous. It stinks. Anybody who's going through fertility treatments or has to get progesterone injections after they get pregnant can attest to the fact that it does not do any wonders for your stomach or your digestion. And the other reason why we feel nauseous and queasy when we're pregnant is because our bodies are so so smart, nature is so smart, it trains us to feel nauseous, to be actually protecting ourselves against eating foods that might actually make us sick, or protecting ourselves against anything kind of illness that might actually come in and affect the baby. So guess what? Your sense of smell is heightened. You feel nauseous all the time. You're super reticent to try new foods, or foods that might even be a little bit quote unquote dangerous. Unfortunately, your body hasn't gotten the memo that pasteurization and refrigerators exist now. So we don't need to feel nauseous by these foods, but we still do. So hopefully nature will catch up to modern conveniences soon, and we'll realize we don't need to feel so nauseous. But in the meantime, what can you do about it when you're super queasy and you're struggling with this stuff all day long? My first tip to you guys, and it's going to help you with your queasiness, it's going to help you with your nausea, it's going to help you with weight gain, and it's also going to help you with other things that can come up in pregnancy, like hypertension, gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, is choose protein first. That's my first tip to you guys. Choose protein first. If you're feeling a craving for sweets, it's because your body needs energy, and your body's going to crave the quickest source of energy that it can get, which is sugar. So if your body's craving sugar, it doesn't need sugar. It needs protein. It needs a long, sustained source of energy. And getting that protein, there's tons of information out there that shows that getting good protein in your diet and getting around 100 grams of protein a day helps you avoid complications like gestational diabetes, like hypertension, and like excessive weight gain, because your body is going to process that protein way differently than it would with sugar. So first tip, choose protein first. And for me, that's where Isagenix comes in with my practice, because sometimes it's really hard to eat protein. I have so many clients who just can't stand meat even though they're not vegetarian, or they can't stand beans even though they are vegetarian, or they just are struggling to get enough protein. Dairy's making them constipated. You know, all of these great sources of protein that we normally have in our diets sometimes aren't options for us when we're pregnant because we just can't stand them. And that's when it's so great to have a protein shake that's actually made with great protein, that's cold filtered, pasteurized, and you get like 30 grams of protein in one shake. It's sweet, which usually helps people who are struggling with nausea. They can stomach sweet foods a lot more than other stronger flavors. So for me, that's a great tool that I have in my toolkit. But either way, choose protein first. Tip number 2 is listen to and honor your body, okay? So if you feel like you just can't stomach certain foods, it's okay. Don't force yourself to eat stuff that you hate, okay? Pregnancy is hard enough without forcing yourself to eat things that make you miserable, okay? You have other things to make you miserable. You don't have to put that on yourself. And also, what comes along with honoring your body, eat when you're hungry, okay? Don't say, oh my gosh, it's midnight, I shouldn't be eating right now, even though your body is telling you that you're hungry or your stomach is grumbling or whatever. You know, go ahead and eat something. And if you go back to rule number 1, choose protein first. It doesn't matter if you eat at 2 in the morning. If you're having a cheese stick, or you're having Greek yogurt, or you're having some leftover chicken, or whatever, it's fine. It's fine if you're eating that in the night, okay? Because you are honoring your body and listening to your body, and your body is telling you what you need to hear. And you guys, you know what the most important thing about laying the foundation during pregnancy of listening to your body is? You need to have that lesson on lock when you're in labor. So even just eating when you're hungry during pregnancy is a tiny little drop in that bucket of self-confidence and body trust that you need when you're in labor. So think of it that way, if that helps. Third tip for you guys is do not get hungry, okay? Because when you get hungry, your nausea gets so much worse, okay? So eat small meals throughout the day. Don't overeat. Don't eat until the point where you feel like you're going to burst, but don't let yourself get hungry, okay? You should be eating every 2 to 3 hours, even if you're not pregnant, but especially if you are pregnant. Bring little snacks with you and stuff like that. And that comes to my last thing I'm going to tell you, which are some ideas if you're struggling, like I can't stand meat, I can't stand beans, I can't stand veggies. Once again, I use Isagenix all the time to get around this stuff, but even if you're not using Isagenix, you can make yourself a green smoothie and put protein in it. You can make sure that you're eating, like if you're choosing yogurt, choose Greek yogurt because it has so much more protein in it. You know, make sure that whenever you're eating something at every meal, it doesn't have to be all protein, but there's one part of everything that you're eating is protein. So instead of having an apple, have an apple with peanut butter, and instead of just having a handful of raisins, have raisins and almonds, or something like that, so that you're getting tiny little doses of protein throughout your day. That's going to keep you full. It's going to keep your energy sustained, so you're not having like really big ups and downs with your blood sugar, which also contributes to nausea. So that you can be as even as possible. That's what's going to minimize your queasiness, you guys. So I hope that's helpful to you. I love working with you guys. I love talking with you. And if you feel like you're struggling in pregnancy, whether it's about food or whether it's about making a birth plan, picking a care provider, getting educated, finding a doula, all of those things, hit me up for an empowered birth session, because that's what we talk about. We spend all of our time talking about what's your vision for your birth and how can you get it, and what are the things that are holding you back, and what are the obstacles that are in your way. That's what an empowered birth session is. I love doing them. I'm doing one tonight just in a few hours. I can't wait. I hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday, and stay tuned tomorrow when I'm going to talk about toddlers, picky eating, and what are some sneaky little tricks we can do to minimize picky eating troubles. Love you guys. Have an amazing week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.